remember the meals that stretched every penny but still filled stomachs and hearts? These Depression-era suppers were simple, frugal, and surprisingly delicious, turning modest ingredients into comforting family dinners. From hearty casseroles to creative vegetable dishes, each recipe tells a story of resourcefulness and care in the kitchen. Today, we're bringing back 30 of these dirt-cheap classics that prove frugality and flavor can go hand in hand. Wartime meatloaf. Wartime meatloaf was a staple on American tables during the 1930s and 1940s, a time when families were tightening their belts and learning to stretch every scrap of food. With meat expensive and often rationed, this humble dish was designed to feed a family without breaking the budget. At its heart, the meatloaf was a simple combination of ground beef, often mixed with breadcrumbs, oatmeal, or crushed crackers to bulk it up, along with a modest amount of fat for flavor. Eggs and a touch of milk held it all together, ensuring a firm yet tender loaf once baked. Vegetables played a crucial role in both flavor and nutrition. Onions, carrots, and sometimes celery were finely chopped and stirred into the mixture, adding moisture and sweetness while stretching the meat further. Seasonings were sparse but effective. A pinch of salt, a dash of pepper, and perhaps a hint of dried herbs created a comforting aroma that filled the kitchen as it baked. Some families topped their loaf with a thin layer of ketchup, tomato paste, or a simple glaze made from sugar and vinegar, adding a subtle tang and caramelized crust that made the dish feel special despite its thriftiness. The beauty of wartime meatloaf lay in its adaptability. Leftover vegetables, bits of cooked meat, or even stale bread could be incorporated, turning what might have been scraps into a hearty, satisfying meal. It was typically baked in a loaf pan, then sliced and served alongside mashed potatoes, steamed cabbage, or buttered noodles. Classic Depression-era sides that were equally economical and filling. Even with its simplicity, wartime meatloaf carried a sense of warmth and security. It represented the ingenuity and resilience of families facing economic hardship, showing that a nourishing, tasty dinner didn't require lavish ingredients. In many households, the recipe was passed down from parent to child, becoming a symbol of comfort and continuity through uncertain times. The loaf's golden brown crust and tender, flavorful interior reminded families that even in lean years, a well-prepared meal could bring everyone to the table, share stories, and create small moments of joy. Today, wartime meatloaf endures not only as a reminder of frugal cooking, but as a testament to the enduring appeal of simple, hearty, homemade meals that can warm both stomach and heart. Potato and onion hash. Potato and onion hash was one of the simplest and most beloved Depression-era suppers, a dish that could turn a handful of humble ingredients into a filling and flavorful meal. During the 1930s, when families had to make every penny and every potato count, this dish was a lifesaver. The recipe called for basic staples: potatoes, onions, a bit of fat for frying, and a pinch of salt and pepper. That was often all that was needed, yet the result was warm, savory, and utterly satisfying. The preparation was straightforward, making it perfect for busy households. Potatoes were peeled and diced into small cubes or thin slices, ensuring they would cook evenly and develop a crisp, golden exterior. Onions, chopped finely or sliced thin, were added to the pan and sautéed alongside the potatoes, their natural sweetness melding with the starchiness of the spuds. Cooking slowly over moderate heat allowed the potatoes to become tender on the inside while crisping on the outside, creating the comforting texture that made the dish so appealing. Variations were common, reflecting the ingenuity of cooks working with what they had. Leftover bacon fat, drippings from roasted meats, Or a dab of butter could replace vegetable oil, adding richness without extra cost. Some families tossed in a bit of leftover meat, a dash of paprika, or a sprinkle of fresh herbs when available, enhancing both flavor and nutrition. Served as a main course, potato and onion hash could be accompanied by a fried egg, a slice of bread, or a simple salad of greens from the garden, transforming a few inexpensive ingredients into a complete meal. Beyond its practicality, potato and onion hash held a sense of warmth and comfort. It was the kind of dish that made small kitchens smell inviting, drawing families together around the table. Each crispy, golden bite carried the story of resilience and resourcefulness during hard times, reminding generations that even the most modest ingredients could produce something nourishing and satisfying. Today, it remains a nostalgic favorite, a testament to the enduring charm of simple, home-cooked meals that celebrate flavor, frugality, and the comforting rhythms of family life. Mock chicken casserole. Mock chicken casserole was a Depression-era classic, born out of necessity and the need to stretch limited ingredients while still serving a hearty, comforting meal. During the 1930s, meat was expensive and often rationed, so families learned to make the most of inexpensive substitutes. This casserole used pantry staples, canned or powdered chicken, or sometimes chopped bits of leftover meat, combined with simple vegetables, a creamy binder, and a crust of breadcrumbs or mashed potatoes to create the satisfying illusion of a full, meaty meal. The beauty of the dish lay in its adaptability. Onions, celery, and carrots were typically sautéed first, adding moisture and flavor, while potatoes or noodles provided bulk. The mock chicken was folded in along with a simple cream sauce made from milk, a little butter, and flour, which held the casserole together and kept it tender as it baked. Seasonings were modest but effective. Salt, pepper, and occasionally a pinch of dried herbs like thyme or parsley lent just enough flavor to make each bite comforting without overpowering the dish. Topping options varied depending on what was on hand. Some households sprinkled breadcrumbs or crushed crackers on top for a golden, crunchy finish, while others used leftover mashed potatoes, pressed lightly and baked until slightly browned. This crust not only added texture, but helped stretch the meal to feed larger families, turning a modest mixture of ingredients into a visually appealing and filling dinner. Mock chicken casserole was more than just a frugal meal. It was a symbol of ingenuity and resilience. It showed that with a little creativity, families could make limited resources go further while still offering warmth and comfort at the dinner table. Served with a side of steamed vegetables or a simple salad, it was satisfying and nourishing, the kind of dish that brought families together even in tough times. Today, it stands as a reminder of Depression-era resourcefulness, a comforting slice of culinary history that celebrates the art of making a little go a long way and of finding joy and flavor in the simplest of ingredients. Cheesy egg and potato bake. Cheesy egg and potato bake was a Depression-era favorite, the kind of dish that turned a handful of humble ingredients into a meal hearty enough to satisfy a family on a tight budget. Potatoes, eggs, and a bit of cheese were the foundation, simple staples that were affordable, filling, and versatile. The dish could be adapted to whatever was on hand, making it a practical solution for households trying to stretch every ingredient while still serving something comforting and nourishing. Preparation was straightforward, which added to its appeal. Potatoes were peeled, sliced, or cubed, then parboiled or lightly fried to soften before layering in a casserole dish. Eggs were beaten and combined with milk or cream to create a custard-like mixture that would bind the potatoes together, giving the bake a tender, satisfying texture. Cheese, often a modest amount of cheddar, American, or whatever was available, was sprinkled between layers and on top, melting into a rich, golden layer that added both flavor and a sense of indulgence despite the frugal ingredients. Seasonings were simple but effective. Salt, pepper, and a hint of paprika or dried herbs could elevate the dish without adding cost, while onions or leftover vegetables might be folded in for extra flavor and nutrition. Some households even added breadcrumbs on top for a crunchy finish, or a few dabs of butter to encourage browning, enhancing both texture and visual appeal. Cheesy egg and potato bake was more than just a meal. It was a testament to practicality and comfort during difficult times. It could be served for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, often accompanied by a simple salad or a slice of bread, making it a versatile centerpiece of frugal family cooking. Its warm, golden layers and creamy, cheesy interior symbolized a small luxury amid scarcity, offering a sense of satisfaction that went beyond hunger. Today, the dish remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era ingenuity, proof that even the simplest ingredients, when combined with care and creativity, could produce something truly delicious and comforting for the whole family. Lentil and vegetable stew. Lentil and vegetable stew was a cornerstone of Depression-era cooking, a humble yet nourishing dish that stretched every penny while keeping families full and healthy. Lentils, inexpensive and packed with protein, formed the heart of the stew, while seasonal or leftover vegetables, carrots, onions, potatoes, and sometimes cabbage or celery, added bulk, flavor, and nutrients. This stew exemplified the ingenuity of cooks during hard times, turning minimal ingredients into a meal that was both comforting and satisfying. The preparation was simple, making it ideal for households where time and energy were at a premium. Lentils were rinsed and simmered slowly with water or a modest amount of stock until tender, absorbing the flavors of the vegetables and seasonings. Onions and garlic were often sautéed first to release their sweetness and aroma, then mixed with diced carrots, potatoes, and any other vegetables available. A few bay leaves, a pinch of salt, and black pepper added depth without extra cost, while dried herbs like thyme or parsley could be included if on hand. The long, gentle simmer allowed the flavors to meld, creating a hearty, flavorful stew that was warm and filling. And this dish was particularly valued for its versatility. Leftover vegetables or small bits of meat could be added, enhancing flavor and stretching the stew further. It could be served as a main meal with a slice of bread for dipping, or alongside rice or noodles to make it even more substantial. The rich, earthy taste of the lentils combined with the sweetness of the cooked vegetables made it surprisingly satisfying, proving that even the simplest ingredients could deliver comfort and sustenance. Lentil and vegetable stew was more than just a frugal meal. It was a symbol of resourcefulness and resilience. Families gathered around steaming bowls, finding warmth, nourishment, and a sense of togetherness in every serving. Today, it endures as a testament to Depression-era ingenuity, a dish that reminds us that simplicity, patience, and a few humble ingredients can create something both wholesome and delicious, capable of nourishing body and spirit alike. Creamed cabbage on toast. Creamed cabbage on toast was a Depression-era staple, a simple, frugal dish that transformed a humble head of cabbage into a comforting, satisfying meal. During the 1930s, when meat and other costly ingredients were scarce, families relied on vegetables like cabbage, which were inexpensive, filling, and widely available. This dish was easy to prepare, nutritious and hearty enough to serve as a light supper or a side to accompany a more substantial main course. The preparation began with the cabbage itself, which was finely shredded or chopped and then gently cooked in a little water or milk until tender. Butter or a modest amount of fat was often added to enrich the dish, while a simple roux made from flour and milk created a creamy, velvety sauce that coated every leaf. Salt, pepper, and sometimes a pinch of nutmeg or mustard added flavor without extra expense, turning the once basic cabbage into a rich, flavorful comfort food. Once the creamed cabbage was ready, it was spooned generously over slices of lightly toasted bread. The toast provided a sturdy, crunchy base that contrasted beautifully with the creamy topping, making each bite a satisfying blend of textures. Leftover bread, slightly stale or firm, was ideal for this dish, showing how resourceful cooks made every ingredient count during tough times. Some families added a sprinkling of grated cheese or a few herbs if available, giving a touch of indulgence to an otherwise simple supper. Creamed cabbage on toast was more than just a frugal dish. It was a symbol of ingenuity and homey comfort. It offered warmth and nourishment, filling both stomach and spirit during difficult years. Families gathered around the table, enjoying the creamy, flavorful cabbage with bread that might otherwise have gone unused. Today, it stands as a reminder of Depression-era resourcefulness, proving that even the most modest ingredients, prepared with care, could become a satisfying, memorable meal that brings both comfort and a taste of history to the table. Rice and pia pilaf. Rice and pia pilaf was a Depression-era favorite, a frugal yet satisfying dish that turned simple pantry staples into a flavorful and filling meal. During the 1930s, when families faced tight budgets and meat was often scarce, dishes like this provided nourishment, variety, and a sense of comfort at the dinner table. Combining inexpensive rice with dried or fresh peas, a touch of fat, and a few seasonings, it was an affordable way to feed a family without sacrificing taste. The preparation was straightforward but deliberate. Rice was first rinsed to remove excess starch, then lightly sautéed in a small amount of butter or fat to give it a nutty aroma and prevent it from sticking. Peas, either dried and soaked beforehand or frozen if available, were added to the pot, cooking alongside the rice so that the flavors could mingle. Onions or a few minced vegetables might be sautéed first, adding sweetness and depth, while simple seasonings like salt, pepper, and occasionally a pinch of herbs transform the dish into something more than just plain rice. The beauty of rice and pea pilaf lay in its adaptability. Leftover vegetables, bits of cooked meat, or even small amounts of canned tomatoes could be added, extending the dish and enhancing flavor. Once cooked, the pilaf had a tender, fluffy texture with subtle pops of sweetness from the peas, creating a satisfying contrast that made it a favorite for both weekday dinners and more special occasions. This dish exemplified the ingenuity and resourcefulness of Depression-era cooks. It was economical, easy to prepare, and could serve as a side dish or a main course, especially when paired with a simple salad or a fried egg. Rice and pia pilaf filled the stomach while conserving money and ingredients, proving that a humble combination of staples could deliver comfort and satisfaction. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of a time when creativity in the kitchen was as important as flavor, demonstrating how simple, affordable ingredients, when combined thoughtfully, could nourish both body and spirit. Hot milk cornbread. Hot milk cornbread was a beloved Depression-era recipe, cherished for its simplicity, affordability, and comforting warmth. During the 1930s, when households were stretched thin and ingredients needed to go further, this cornbread provided a filling, versatile accompaniment to soups, stews, and casseroles. Unlike traditional cornbread made with buttermilk or eggs, hot milk cornbread relied on pantry staples: cornmeal, flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, milk, and a bit of fat, making it both economical and easy to prepare. The preparation began by warming milk with a small amount of butter or shortening, creating a rich liquid that helped bind the dry ingredients while adding moisture and flavor. Cornmeal, flour, sugar, salt, and baking powder were combined in a bowl. Then the hot milk mixture was poured in and stirred just until blended. This method produced a slightly dense but tender cornbread with a golden crust and a soft, comforting interior. Some families added a touch of sugar for sweetness, or a pinch of cinnamon for warmth, showing how even modest adjustments could elevate the dish. Baking was simple, but crucial. The batter was poured into a greased pan or cast iron skillet, which encouraged a lightly crisp crust while keeping the inside moist. As it baked, the kitchen filled with a warm, inviting aroma, a scent that became synonymous with home, frugality, and comfort during hard times. Hot milk cornbread was often served alongside beans, soups, or stews, acting as a sponge to soak up savory sauces and flavors, turning a modest meal into something satisfying and hearty. More than just a side, hot milk cornbread symbolized ingenuity and resilience. It demonstrated how a few inexpensive ingredients, handled with care, could yield a dish that nourished both body and spirit. Its enduring appeal lies in its simplicity, warmth, and versatility, reminding us of a time when frugal cooking meant comfort, creating meals that were as wholesome as they were economical. Today, it remains a nostalgic favorite, a testament to Depression-era resourcefulness and the timeless charm of a well-made golden slice of cornbread. Vegetable chowder. Vegetable chowder was a cornerstone of Depression-era cooking, a humble yet hearty dish that transformed simple, inexpensive ingredients into a nourishing and flavorful meal. In a time when meat was costly and families needed to make every dollar stretch, a pot of chowder could feed a family comfortably using whatever vegetables were on hand. Potatoes, carrots, onions, and celery were often the base, simmered slowly in water or a small amount of milk to create a creamy, satisfying broth. The preparation was straightforward, reflecting the practical, no-frills approach of the era. Vegetables were chopped into small, even pieces to ensure they cooked evenly and absorbed the flavors of the broth. Some households added a bit of butter or a modest splash of milk to enrich the chowder, while others thickened it with a simple roux of flour and fat. Salt and pepper were usually the primary seasonings, though a pinch of thyme or a bay leaf could be included when available, giving depth to the otherwise modest dish. What made vegetable chowder especially practical was its adaptability. Leftover vegetables from the garden, bits of cooked potatoes, or even canned corn could be added, extending the meal without adding cost. Some families stirred in a small amount of leftover meat or bacon for extra flavor, but the dish remained satisfying even without it. Served with a slice of fresh bread or a few crackers, it became a complete meal that was both comforting and frugal. Beyond its practicality, vegetable chowder carried a sense of warmth and togetherness. The steaming bowls of creamy vegetables provided comfort during harsh winters or long, lean evenings, filling both stomach and spirit. Today, it stands as a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era ingenuity, a dish that proves even the simplest ingredients, combined with care and patience, can create something hearty, flavorful, and deeply satisfying. Vegetable chowder remains a testament to resourceful cooking, showing that nourishing meals don't require extravagance, just a little creativity and love in the kitchen. Fried bologna sandwiches. Fried bologna sandwiches were a Depression-era favorite, beloved for their simplicity, affordability, and satisfying flavor. During the 1930s, when meat was expensive and families had to stretch every penny, bologna, an inexpensive processed meat, became a practical solution for a quick, filling meal. Fried in a bit of fat until golden and slightly crisp at the edges, the bologna transformed from a humble lunch meat into a warm, savory centerpiece of the sandwich. The preparation was straightforward, reflecting the practical approach of the time. Slices of bologna were placed in a hot skillet with a small amount of butter, lard, or oil and cooked slowly until they developed a slightly caramelized exterior, which intensified the flavor and gave the meat a satisfying texture. Meanwhile, bread, often a sturdy white or wheat loaf, was lightly toasted or buttered to create a crisp, flavorful base for the fried slices. Some households added a simple condiment, such as mustard or mayonnaise, but the fried bologna itself was flavorful enough to carry the sandwich. The sandwich was versatile and could be dressed up or kept simple depending on what was available. Leftover cheese, a slice of tomato, or a few leaves of lettuce could be added when possible, while a dash of black pepper or paprika could provide extra seasoning without costing much. For many families, the fried bologna sandwich was a lunchtime staple, providing protein and energy in a form that was quick to prepare and easy to serve to children and adults alike. Beyond its practicality, fried bologna sandwiches carried a comforting familiarity. The sizzling sound of bologna hitting the hot skillet and the aroma of browned meat filled kitchens, signaling a warm, satisfying meal even during lean times. Today, the sandwich remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era ingenuity, demonstrating how inexpensive ingredients could be transformed into something both filling and delicious. It is a simple yet enduring example of how resourcefulness and care in the kitchen could create meals that were economical, flavorful, and beloved by generations. Sloppy Joe skillet. Sloppy Joe skillet was a Depression-era twist on the classic sandwich, designed to stretch limited ingredients into a hearty, family-friendly meal. During the 1930s, when ground beef was expensive and rationing made it scarce, cooks learned to stretch small amounts of meat with inexpensive pantry staples like onions, tomato sauce, and breadcrumbs, creating a filling, flavorful dish that could feed a family without breaking the budget. The preparation was straightforward and forgiving, perfect for busy households. Ground beef or a small amount of leftover meat was browned in a skillet, often with chopped onions and a little fat to add flavor and moisture. Tomato sauce, ketchup, or even canned tomatoes were stirred in, sometimes sweetened with a touch of sugar or balanced with a bit of vinegar, producing a tangy, savory sauce that coated every morsel of meat. Breadcrumbs, crackers, or oatmeal could be added to bulk up the mixture, making it stretch further while keeping it moist and tender. Sloppy Joe skillet was versatile and could be served in multiple ways. Some families spooned it directly over slices of bread or toast, while others served it over rice, noodles, or potatoes, turning the dish into a complete one-pan meal. A sprinkle of cheese or a dash of herbs, when available, could add extra flavor, but even in its simplest form, the skillet was comforting, satisfying, and filling. Beyond its practicality, Sloppy Joe skillet embodied the resourcefulness and creativity of Depression-era cooking. It transformed humble ingredients into a meal that felt hearty and indulgent, proving that even in tough times, a little imagination could turn meager supplies into a dish that brought families together at the table. Today, the skillet version stands as a nostalgic reminder of frugality and ingenuity in the kitchen, celebrating the art of making a little go a long way while still delivering bold, comforting flavor that endures across generations. Stuffed bell peppers with rice. Stuffed bell peppers with rice was a popular Depression-era supper, prized for its ability to turn inexpensive ingredients into a colorful, filling, and satisfying meal. During the 1930s, families had to stretch every ingredient, and this dish was a clever way to combine modest staples, rice, vegetables, and small amounts of meat or leftover scraps, into a dish that felt hearty and complete. The bell peppers themselves were inexpensive, widely available, and added both flavor and visual appeal to the table. Preparation began by hollowing out fresh bell peppers and parboiling them briefly to soften the flesh. Meanwhile, a filling was prepared using cooked rice as the base, mixed with sautéed onions, carrots, celery, and any available bits of meat or canned goods. Seasonings were simple yet effective: salt, pepper, and perhaps a pinch of paprika or dried herbs enhanced the flavors without adding cost. Some families stirred in a little tomato paste or sauce, which helped bind the mixture while adding tang and richness. Once stuffed, the peppers were arranged in a baking dish, sometimes topped with a small sprinkle of cheese or a drizzle of tomato sauce, and baked until tender. The rice absorbed the flavors of the peppers and sauce, creating a savory, cohesive dish that was both visually appealing and deeply satisfying. Leftovers were easy to reheat, making it an economical choice for busy households. Stuffed bell peppers with rice was more than a practical solution during hard times. It was a symbol of creativity and resourcefulness in the kitchen. By combining simple, inexpensive ingredients thoughtfully, families could produce a meal that nourished both body and spirit. Served with a side of bread or a simple salad, it was a complete supper that brought comfort to the table. Today, this Depression-era classic remains a testament to the ingenuity of frugal home cooks, proving that even modest ingredients, when prepared with care, can result in a delicious, hearty, and memorable meal. Cabbage and noodle skillet. Cabbage and noodle skillet was a quintessential Depression-era supper, beloved for its simplicity, affordability, and surprising heartiness. In the 1930s, when meat was scarce and families needed to make every ingredient stretch, this dish provided a filling, flavorful meal using inexpensive staples: cabbage, noodles, a bit of fat, and a few basic seasonings. It was the kind of dish that turned modest ingredients into something comforting and satisfying for the whole family. The preparation was straightforward. Cabbage was finely shredded and sautéed in a skillet with a small amount of butter, lard, or oil, allowing it to soften and develop a gentle sweetness. Meanwhile, noodles, often egg noodles or other inexpensive pasta, were boiled until tender, then mixed with the cooked cabbage. A little salt and pepper, and occasionally a pinch of nutmeg or dried herbs, were enough to enhance the flavors. Some families added onions, garlic, or leftover bits of meat to enrich the dish, but even in its simplest form, the combination of cabbage and noodles was hearty and satisfying. Cooking the dish in a single skillet allowed the flavors to meld together, creating a warm, cohesive meal that could be prepared quickly and with minimal cleanup, a practical consideration for busy households. The noodles absorbed some of the cabbage's natural moisture, while a slight crispness at the edges of the skillet added texture and visual appeal. Served alongside a slice of bread or a simple salad, it became a complete budget-friendly supper. Beyond its practicality, cabbage and noodle skillet embodied the ingenuity of Depression-era cooking. It demonstrated that with a little creativity, inexpensive ingredients could be transformed into a meal that nourished both body and spirit. Families gathered around the table to enjoy a dish that was modest in cost but generous in satisfaction. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of frugal home cooking, celebrating the enduring appeal of simple, comforting meals that require little but deliver a lot. Tomato and egg stir fry. Tomato and egg stir fry was a Depression-era favorite, celebrated for its simplicity, affordability, and bright, comforting flavors. During the 1930s, when families needed to stretch limited resources, eggs and tomatoes were inexpensive staples that provided protein, vitamins, and a sense of freshness to the table. This dish turned just a few basic ingredients into a meal that was both satisfying and quick to prepare, making it a reliable choice for busy households. Preparation began by lightly beating the eggs and frying them gently in a small amount of fat until just set, creating soft, tender curds that would melt into the dish. Tomatoes, fresh if in season or canned when necessary, were chopped and sautéed with a touch of oil until they released their juices, forming a lightly tangy, flavorful sauce. The cooked eggs were then folded into the tomatoes, allowing the flavors to meld while the eggs absorbed the natural sweetness and acidity of the tomatoes. Simple seasonings such as salt, pepper, and a pinch of sugar brought balance to the dish, enhancing its natural flavors without the need for expensive spices. Tomato and egg stir-fry was versatile and could be served over rice, noodles, or even bread, making it a filling meal for the family. Some households added onions, scallions, or a bit of leftover meat to stretch the dish further and introduce additional flavor. Its bright color and delicate texture made it appealing to children and adults alike, proving that even humble ingredients could be transformed into something visually attractive and delicious. More than just a frugal meal, tomato and egg stir-fry represented the ingenuity and resourcefulness of Depression-era cooks. It demonstrated how simple, affordable ingredients could be combined to create a dish that nourished both body and spirit. Today, it remains a nostalgic favorite, a reminder that comfort, flavor, and satisfaction do not require extravagance, just a little creativity and care in the kitchen. Bean and bacon soup. Bean and bacon soup was a Depression-era staple, a frugal yet hearty dish that provided warmth, flavor, and sustenance during lean times. Beans, inexpensive and packed with protein, formed the foundation of the soup, while small amounts of bacon or leftover pork scraps added richness and a smoky, savory depth. This soup was a practical solution for families who needed to stretch ingredients while still serving a satisfying meal. Preparation began with soaking dry beans overnight, a step that softened them and reduced cooking time. The beans were then simmered slowly with water or a small amount of stock until tender, forming a creamy, hearty base. Meanwhile, bacon was chopped into small pieces and rendered in a pot, releasing flavorful fat that became the foundation for the soup. Onions, carrots, and celery were typically sautéed in the bacon fat, adding sweetness and depth before being combined with the beans. Seasonings were simple: salt, pepper, and perhaps a bay leaf or dried herbs, but they were enough to enhance the natural flavors of the ingredients. Bean and bacon soup was highly adaptable, reflecting the resourcefulness of Depression-era cooks. Leftover vegetables, small bits of meat, or even a splash of tomato paste could be added to extend the soup and enrich its flavor. The long, slow simmer allowed the ingredients to meld, creating a thick, comforting consistency that was both filling and economical. Served with bread or crackers, the soup became a complete meal capable of satisfying the hungriest appetites. Beyond its practicality, bean and bacon soup symbolize the ingenuity and resilience of families during hard times. It transformed inexpensive, readily available ingredients into a nourishing and flavorful dish that brought comfort and warmth to the table. Today, it stands as a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era cooking, proving that a few simple ingredients, prepared with care, can create a meal that is both hearty and deeply satisfying. This soup endures as a testament to resourcefulness in the kitchen and the timeless appeal of wholesome home-cooked fare. Egg and potato frittata. Egg and potato frittata was a Depression-era favorite, a frugal yet satisfying dish that turned a few basic ingredients into a hearty, family-friendly meal. Eggs and potatoes, both inexpensive and versatile staples, formed the backbone of this dish, allowing families to create a filling supper without spending much. Its simplicity, combined with the ability to stretch leftovers and pantry staples, made it an essential recipe during lean times. Preparation began by slicing or dicing potatoes, which were then sautéed in a modest amount of fat, often butter, lard, or leftover bacon drippings, until tender and lightly browned. Onions or other inexpensive vegetables, such as bell peppers or carrots, were sometimes added for flavor and color. Meanwhile, eggs were beaten with a little milk or water to create a custard-like mixture that would bind the ingredients together. The cooked potatoes and vegetables were poured into the egg mixture or vice versa, then cooked slowly over low heat or baked in the oven until set, forming a golden, tender frittata. Seasonings were modest but effective. Salt, pepper, and occasionally a pinch of dried herbs enhanced the flavors without adding expense. Leftover cheese, a bit of cooked meat, or even canned vegetables could be incorporated to stretch the dish further, demonstrating the ingenuity of Depression-era cooks. Once cooked, the frittata could be sliced and served hot or at room temperature, making it convenient for family meals throughout the day. Egg and potato frittata was more than just an economical supper. It was a symbol of resourcefulness and homey comfort. Families gathered around the table to enjoy a dish that was modest in cost but generous in satisfaction, providing warmth, nourishment, and a sense of togetherness. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era cooking, showing that with a little creativity and care, humble ingredients can be transformed into a flavorful, filling, and enduring meal that appeals to both children and adults alike. Mock tuna salad on toast. Mock tuna salad on toast was a clever Depression-era creation, designed to stretch limited ingredients while still providing a satisfying, protein-rich meal. True tuna was often expensive or difficult to come by, so cooks improvised using canned salmon, finely chopped cooked fish, or even mashed beans as a substitute. Combined with simple pantry staples like mayonnaise, chopped onions, and a touch of seasoning, this mock salad became a frugal yet flavorful topping for toast, offering families a quick, inexpensive supper or lunch. Preparation was simple and adaptable. The mock tuna base, whether mashed fish, beans, or a combination, was mixed with a little mayonnaise or cream to create a creamy texture. Finely chopped onions, celery, or pickles added crunch and flavor, while salt, pepper, and sometimes a pinch of mustard or paprika enhanced the taste. The mixture could be served cold or slightly warmed, depending on preference, and was spread generously over slices of lightly toasted bread, which added a crisp counterpoint to the creamy topping. What made mock tuna salad on toast so practical was its versatility. Leftover vegetables, bits of cooked meat, or even a splash of milk could be incorporated to extend the salad and make it more filling. It could also be adapted to serve multiple family members, stretching a small amount of protein into a meal that felt substantial. The dish was quick to assemble, required minimal cooking, and could be enjoyed at the table or packed for lunch, making it ideal for busy households. Beyond its practicality, mock tuna salad on toast represented the resourcefulness and creativity of Depression-era cooks. It transformed modest ingredients into a dish that was flavorful, satisfying, and visually appealing. providing comfort and nourishment even in difficult times. Today, it stands as a nostalgic reminder of frugal home cooking, showing that a little imagination in the kitchen can turn humble staples into a meal that is both economical and delicious, capable of satisfying the whole family. Macaroni and cheese with breadcrumbs. Macaroni and cheese with breadcrumbs was a Depression-era classic, cherished for its simplicity, affordability, and comforting flavors. In the 1930s, when meat and fresh ingredients were often scarce, pasta and cheese provided a filling, protein-rich base that could feed a family without straining the household budget. The addition of breadcrumbs on top gave the dish a satisfying crunch and a touch of indulgence, making it feel special despite its frugal ingredients. Preparation began by cooking macaroni until tender, then combining it with a simple cheese sauce made from a modest amount of butter, milk, and shredded cheese. The sauce bound the noodles together while creating a creamy, flavorful texture that was both comforting and hearty. Salt, pepper, and occasionally a pinch of mustard or paprika were added to enhance the flavor without adding cost. The mixture was then poured into a baking dish, and a generous layer of breadcrumbs, sometimes mixed with a little butter, was sprinkled on top to form a golden, crisp crust during baking. Macaroni and cheese with breadcrumbs was highly adaptable, reflecting the ingenuity of Depression-era cooks. Leftover vegetables, small amounts of meat, or even canned tomatoes could be stirred in to extend the dish and boost nutrition. The baking process allowed the flavors to meld while creating a pleasing contrast between the creamy interior and the crisp topping. It could be served as a main course or alongside other inexpensive sides like vegetables or a simple salad, making it a versatile addition to any meal. Beyond practicality, macaroni and cheese with breadcrumbs offered comfort and satisfaction at a time when resources were limited. Families gathered around the table to enjoy the creamy, cheesy goodness and the golden, crunchy topping, a small luxury in challenging times. Today, it remains a nostalgic favorite, a testament to Depression-era resourcefulness and the enduring appeal of simple, well-prepared meals that combine frugality with flavor. It proves that even the most modest ingredients, when treated with care, can create a dish that nourishes both body and spirit. Fried potato cakes. Fried potato cakes were a Depression-era staple, prized for their simplicity, affordability, and satisfying heartiness. During the 1930s, when meat and other expensive ingredients were scarce, potatoes became a kitchen hero, providing both substance and versatility. Combined with a few pantry staples like flour, eggs, and a pinch of seasoning, these potato cakes turned humble spuds into a comforting, filling meal that could easily stretch to feed an entire family. Preparation began by boiling or mashing leftover potatoes until smooth. They were then mixed with a small amount of flour to bind the mixture and an egg to give structure and richness. Salt, pepper, and sometimes finely chopped onions or herbs were added for flavor. The mixture was shaped into small patties and fried in a modest amount of fat, often butter, lard, or vegetable oil, until golden brown and crisp on the outside, while remaining soft and tender inside. The result was a delightful contrast of textures that made each bite satisfying and flavorful. Fried potato cakes were versatile and adaptable. Leftover vegetables, cheese, or bits of cooked meat could be incorporated into the mixture to add flavor and nutrition, stretching the dish even further. They could be served as a main course with a simple salad alongside soup, or as a side to a more substantial meal. Their quick preparation and ability to use leftovers made them ideal for busy households, providing a sense of abundance even during lean times. More than just an economical dish, fried potato cakes symbolized ingenuity and comfort during the Depression era. Families gathered around plates of golden, crispy cakes, enjoying warmth, nourishment, and the satisfaction of a home-cooked meal made with care. Today, they remain a nostalgic reminder of resourceful cooking, proving that even the simplest ingredients, when combined thoughtfully, can create something both delicious and deeply satisfying. Fried potato cakes endure as a testament to frugality, flavor, and the timeless appeal of comforting homemade food. Carrot and potato mash. Carrot and potato mash was a Depression-era favorite, celebrated for its simplicity, affordability, and wholesome, comforting flavor. During the 1930s, when families needed to make every ingredient stretch, this dish combined inexpensive staples, potatoes and carrots, into a hearty side that was both filling and nutritious. Its smooth texture, natural sweetness, and vibrant color made it a welcome addition to any meal, proving that even the humblest ingredients could be transformed into something satisfying. Preparation was straightforward. Potatoes and carrots were peeled, chopped into evenly sized pieces, and boiled together until tender. Once cooked, they were mashed with a bit of fat, often butter, margarine, or a small amount of drippings, and a splash of milk or water to achieve a creamy consistency. Salt and pepper were added to taste, while some households included a pinch of sugar, nutmeg, or a sprinkle of herbs to enhance the natural flavors. The result was a smooth, velvety mash with a subtle sweetness from the carrots, balanced by the earthy richness of the potatoes. Carrot and potato mash was versatile and adaptable, reflecting the resourcefulness of Depression-era cooks. Leftover vegetables or small amounts of cooked onions could be mixed in for added flavor and bulk. It could be served as a side dish with meat, stew, or fried foods, or even enjoyed on its own for a simple, satisfying meal. Its warm, creamy texture made it especially comforting during cold weather, filling both stomach and spirit. Beyond its practicality, carrot and potato mash symbolized ingenuity and homey comfort. It demonstrated that modest, inexpensive ingredients could be combined to create something nourishing, flavorful, and visually appealing. Families gathered around bowls of the vibrant mash, appreciating both its taste and its ability to stretch limited resources. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era frugality, proving that simple, thoughtful cooking can turn humble ingredients into a dish that is both hearty and heartwarming. Sausage and sauerkraut skillet. Sausage and sauerkraut skillet was a Depression-era favorite, a hearty, flavorful dish that combined inexpensive ingredients into a satisfying one-pan meal. During the 1930s, families needed meals that stretched modest resources while still providing warmth and nutrition, and this skillet supper delivered on both counts. Sausage added savory richness, while sauerkraut, a cheap, long-lasting pantry staple, brought tang, flavor, and a touch of acidity that balanced the dish beautifully. Preparation was simple and practical. Sausages, often inexpensive links or leftover cooked meat, were sliced or browned whole in a skillet to release their fat and flavor. Onions were frequently sautéed alongside the sausage to add sweetness and depth. Sauerkraut, drained and sometimes rinsed to reduce sharpness, was stirred in and cooked slowly, allowing it to meld with the sausage and onion while softening slightly. A small splash of water or broth kept the mixture moist, while a pinch of salt, pepper, or caraway seeds enhanced the flavors without extra cost. The skillet method made the dish quick, efficient, and forgiving. Everything cooked together, absorbing each other's flavors, while the natural fats from the sausage enriched the sauerkraut, creating a savory, satisfying mixture. Served on its own or alongside boiled potatoes or a slice of bread, sausage and sauerkraut skillet became a filling, economical supper that could feed a family without elaborate preparation. Beyond its practicality, sausage and sauerkraut skillet symbolized ingenuity and comfort during difficult times. It demonstrated how inexpensive ingredients, thoughtfully combined, could create a meal that was hearty, flavorful, and visually appealing. Families gathered around the sizzling skillet, enjoying a dish that nourished both body and spirit. Today, it stands as a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era resourcefulness in the kitchen, showing that even the simplest ingredients, handled with care, could be transformed into a dish both satisfying and memorable. Baked beans and cornbread. Baked beans and cornbread was a classic Depression-era supper, celebrated for its simplicity, affordability, and comforting, hearty flavors. During the 1930s, when families were striving to stretch limited resources, this combination provided protein, fiber, and warmth using inexpensive pantry staples. Beans, whether dried or canned, offered nourishment, while cornbread served as a filling, golden accompaniment, perfect for soaking up the savory sauce of the beans. Preparation began with the beans, which were often soaked overnight to reduce cooking time and ensure tenderness. They were then simmered slowly with onions, a bit of fat, molasses or sugar, and a splash of vinegar to create a rich, flavorful sauce. Salt, pepper, and perhaps a pinch of mustard or paprika added depth without extra cost. The long, gentle cooking allowed the beans to absorb the flavors, producing a thick, hearty dish that was satisfying even on its own. Cornbread complemented the beans perfectly. Made from a simple mixture of cornmeal, flour, milk, a touch of fat, and leavening, it is baked into a golden, tender loaf with a slightly crisp crust. Hot from the oven, it could be served alongside the beans or torn into pieces and dipped into the savory sauce, creating a meal that was both economical and filling. Some households added sugar or butter to the cornbread, providing a hint of indulgence in otherwise modest times. Baked beans and cornbread was more than just frugal cooking. It represented comfort, warmth, and resourcefulness. Families gathered around the table enjoying the rich, savory beans and the soft, satisfying bread, a meal that nourished both body and spirit. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era ingenuity in the kitchen, demonstrating that simple, affordable ingredients, thoughtfully combined, can create a meal that is hearty, flavorful, and deeply satisfying. It stands as a timeless example of how practical, home-cooked fare can provide both sustenance and comfort in equal measure. Chicken and rice soup. Chicken and rice soup was a Depression-era staple, cherished for its simplicity, affordability, and comforting, nourishing qualities. During the 1930s, when meat was scarce and families needed to make every ingredient stretch, a small portion of chicken could be transformed into a hearty soup that fed the entire household. Paired with inexpensive staples like rice, onions, and vegetables, this dish became a reliable, filling meal that brought warmth and satisfaction to the table. Preparation began with simmering chicken, often a leftover roast or a less expensive cut, in water to create a flavorful broth. Onions, carrots, celery, and sometimes potatoes were added, simmering slowly to release their natural sweetness and enrich the stock. Rice was stirred in toward the end of cooking, absorbing the savory flavors of the broth while adding substance to the soup. Salt, pepper, and occasionally a few dried herbs such as parsley or thyme provided just enough seasoning to enhance the ingredients without adding cost. The soup was versatile, reflecting the resourcefulness of Depression-era cooks. Leftover vegetables, bits of cooked meat, or even small amounts of canned tomatoes could be incorporated to stretch the meal further. Its gentle simmering allowed flavors to meld, creating a comforting, aromatic dish that filled the kitchen with a sense of home and warmth. Served with a slice of bread or a simple biscuit, chicken and rice soup became a complete economical meal suitable for both lunch and dinner. Beyond practicality, chicken and rice soup symbolized ingenuity, care, and comfort. It transformed modest ingredients into a dish that nourished both body and spirit, providing sustenance during challenging times. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era cooking, illustrating how frugal, thoughtful preparation can turn simple ingredients into a flavorful, satisfying, and enduring meal. This humble soup stands as a testament to the timeless appeal of home-cooked comfort food and the ingenuity of cooks who made every ingredient count. Vegetable pie with pastry crust. Vegetable pie with pastry crust was a beloved Depression-era dish, prized for its ability to transform simple, inexpensive ingredients into a hearty, satisfying meal. During the 1930s, when meat was costly and families needed to stretch every dollar, this pie provided a complete, nourishing supper using vegetables, a simple filling, and a flaky, golden crust. It was a practical solution that offered both sustenance and comfort at the family table. Preparation began with the crust, typically made from flour, a small amount of fat, like butter, lard, or shortening, and a touch of water or milk. The goal was a tender, flaky pastry that would hold the filling without overpowering it. Meanwhile, the filling was prepared using whatever vegetables were on hand. Carrots, potatoes, onions, peas, and cabbage were common choices. These were chopped, sautéed lightly for flavor, and seasoned simply with salt, pepper, and a pinch of dried herbs. Some households added a splash of milk or a spoonful of flour to bind the vegetables, creating a creamy texture that complemented the crisp pastry. Once assembled, the pie was baked until the crust turned golden and the filling bubbled gently, releasing its aromas into the kitchen. The result was a visually appealing, fragrant dish with a satisfying contrast between the flaky crust and tender, flavorful vegetables. Leftovers could easily be reheated, making it economical and practical for busy families. Vegetable pie with pastry crust was more than just a frugal meal. It symbolized creativity, resourcefulness, and comfort. It allowed families to enjoy a nourishing, hearty supper even during lean times, turning modest ingredients into something special. Today, this Depression-era classic stands as a testament to the ingenuity of home cooks, showing that with care and imagination, simple vegetables and a basic crust could become a delicious, memorable dish that nourishes both body and spirit. Shepherd's pie with leftovers. Shepherd's pie with leftovers was a quintessential Depression-era dish, embodying the ingenuity and frugality that defined home cooking during the 1930s. When families faced tight budgets and limited access to fresh meat, this dish allowed them to transform small amounts of leftover protein, often beef, lamb, or even chopped chicken, into a hearty, satisfying meal. Combined with vegetables and topped with a layer of mashed potatoes, shepherd's pie stretched ingredients further while delivering warmth and comfort at the dinner table. Preparation began by chopping leftover meat and sautéing it with onions, carrots, and other vegetables on hand. A splash of broth or a bit of drippings was often added to moisten the mixture and enhance the flavor. Salt, pepper, and a few dried herbs were used sparingly, providing seasoning without additional expense. The mixture was then transferred to a baking dish, and a thick layer of mashed potatoes, often mixed with leftover milk or a bit of butter, was spread on top to form a golden, satisfying crust. Baking the pie until the potatoes developed a light golden hue allowed the flavors to meld, creating a cohesive, hearty dish. Leftovers could also be added to the filling, turning small scraps into a substantial, nourishing meal. Shepherd's pie was versatile and forgiving, making it ideal for families who needed to make the most of every ingredient while still serving something appealing and filling. Beyond its practicality, shepherd's pie with leftovers symbolized care, comfort, and resourcefulness. It demonstrated how modest ingredients, combined thoughtfully, could provide a meal that nourished both body and spirit. Families gathered around the table, enjoying the tender filling and golden potato topping, finding satisfaction in a dish that maximized flavor while minimizing waste. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era ingenuity, showcasing how leftovers and simple ingredients, handled with creativity and care, can be transformed into a timeless, hearty, and deeply satisfying meal. Homemade gnocchi in tomato sauce. Homemade gnocchi in tomato sauce was a Depression-era favorite, cherished for its simplicity, affordability, and comforting flavors. During the 1930s, when meat and other expensive ingredients were scarce, families relied on inexpensive staples like potatoes and flour to create a filling meal. Soft, pillowy gnocchi paired with a modest tomato sauce transformed humble ingredients into a satisfying supper that could stretch to feed an entire family. Preparation began with a gnocchi made by combining boiled, mashed potatoes with a small amount of flour and sometimes an egg to form a pliable dough. The dough was rolled into small ropes, cut into bite-sized pieces, and boiled until they floated to the surface, signaling their tenderness. Meanwhile, a simple tomato sauce was prepared from canned or fresh tomatoes, simmered with onions, garlic, and a pinch of salt and pepper. Some households added a bit of sugar or dried herbs to balance acidity and enhance flavor, creating a fragrant, flavorful sauce with minimal cost. Once cooked, the gnocchi were gently tossed in the tomato sauce, allowing each piece to absorb its richness. The result was a meal that was both hearty and light, with tender gnocchi complementing the tangy, aromatic sauce. Breadcrumbs or a sprinkle of grated cheese could be added if available, lending extra texture and flavor, but the dish remained satisfying even in its simplest form. Homemade gnocchi and tomato sauce was more than just an economical meal. It represented ingenuity and comfort. It showed that inexpensive, everyday ingredients could be transformed into something special with a little effort and care. Families gathered around bowls of soft, pillowy gnocchi, bathed in savory tomato sauce, enjoying a meal that nourished both body and spirit. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era resourcefulness, demonstrating that simple ingredients, prepared thoughtfully, can create a dish that is timeless, comforting, and deeply satisfying. Cabbage roll casserole. Cabbage roll casserole was a Depression-era favorite, a frugal and hearty dish that captured the essence of resourceful home cooking. During the 1930s, when meat was scarce and budgets were tight, families adapted traditional stuffed cabbage rolls into a simple casserole that required less labor and stretched limited ingredients further. Layers of cabbage, rice, vegetables, and modest amounts of meat or pantry staples came together to create a comforting, filling meal that could feed an entire household. Preparation began with the cabbage, which was blanched or lightly boiled to soften the leaves. Meanwhile, a filling was prepared using cooked rice, chopped onions, carrots, and any available meat, often just a small portion of ground beef, pork, or leftover scraps. Seasonings were minimal but effective. Salt, pepper, and sometimes a touch of dried herbs added flavor without extra expense. In the casserole, layers of cabbage and the filling were arranged alternately, and a simple tomato sauce or a splash of broth was poured over the top to keep the dish moist during baking. Baking the casserole allowed the flavors to meld, producing a tender, savory dish with a comforting aroma that filled the kitchen. The casserole could be served on its own or with a slice of bread, turning modest ingredients into a satisfying and visually appealing meal. Its forgiving nature also made it ideal for stretching leftovers or incorporating vegetables from the garden, reflecting the ingenuity of Depression-era cooks. Cabbage roll casserole was more than just a frugal supper. It was a symbol of creativity, warmth, and resourcefulness. Families gathered around the table to enjoy the tender cabbage, savory filling, and rich tomato sauce, finding comfort and sustenance even during difficult times. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era ingenuity, proving that simple ingredients, handled thoughtfully, can be transformed into a dish that is both hearty and deeply satisfying. Pea and onion soup. Pea and onion soup was a Depression-era staple, prized for its simplicity, affordability, and comforting, hearty flavors. During the 1930s, when budgets were tight and meat was a luxury, families relied on inexpensive staples like dried or split peas and onions to create nourishing meals that stretched far and fed many. This soup exemplified the resourcefulness of home cooks who could turn a handful of humble ingredients into a warming, satisfying dish. Preparation began by soaking dried peas to soften them before simmering them slowly in water or a small amount of stock. Onions were finely chopped and sautéed in a bit of fat, often butter, lard, or oil, until sweet and translucent, then added to the peas. The slow cooking process allowed the flavors to meld, producing a creamy, earthy broth even without cream or milk. Salt, pepper, and occasionally a bay leaf or pinch of herbs provided subtle seasoning, enhancing the natural flavors without increasing cost. Pea and onion soup was highly adaptable. Leftover vegetables, bits of cooked meat, or a splash of tomato paste could be stirred in to add variety and stretch the dish further. Once cooked, the soup could be served as is or lightly mashed for a thicker, creamier texture. Paired with bread or biscuits, it became a complete, frugal meal that could satisfy even a large family. Beyond its practicality, pea and onion soup symbolized comfort and ingenuity in difficult times. Its warm, flavorful broth nourished both body and spirit, demonstrating how modest ingredients could be transformed into something hearty and satisfying. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era resourcefulness, showing that simple, inexpensive components, thoughtfully prepared, can create a dish that is timeless, comforting, and deeply fulfilling. Creamed spinach on toast. Creamed spinach on toast was a Depression-era favorite, prized for its simplicity, affordability, and comforting flavor. During the 1930s, when meat and other costly ingredients were scarce, home cooks turned to inexpensive vegetables like spinach to create nourishing meals. By pairing tender, creamed spinach with slices of toasted bread, families were able to serve a warm, satisfying dish that stretched limited ingredients while still feeling indulgent. Preparation began by cooking fresh or frozen spinach until tender, then chopping it finely. A simple cream sauce was made using a small amount of butter, flour, and milk, which thickened to coat the spinach in a rich, velvety layer. Salt, pepper, and occasionally a pinch of nutmeg or mustard were added to enhance the flavor without extra expense. Once the sauce was complete, the spinach was stirred in and heated gently, ensuring the mixture was creamy and smooth. Slices of bread, often lightly toasted or buttered, served as the base for the creamed spinach. The combination of crisp, warm toast and the rich, savory topping created a satisfying contrast in both texture and flavor. Some households added a sprinkling of grated cheese on top for extra richness, though even without it, the dish was nourishing and delicious. Creamed spinach on toast was more than just a frugal meal. It represented ingenuity and comfort during difficult times. Families could enjoy a dish that was both wholesome and flavorful without spending much, turning a humble vegetable into a dish that felt special. Today, it remains a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era resourcefulness, demonstrating that simple ingredients, prepared with care, can become a warm, satisfying, and enduring meal that nourishes both body and spirit. Eggplant and tomato bake. Eggplant and tomato bake was a Depression-era favorite, celebrated for its affordability, simplicity, and comforting flavors. During the 1930s, when meat was expensive and household budgets were tight, home cooks relied on inexpensive vegetables like eggplant and tomatoes to create hearty, satisfying meals. By layering these humble ingredients with basic seasonings and a bit of fat, families could produce a dish that was both nourishing and flavorful, perfect for a frugal supper. Preparation began by slicing eggplant and lightly salting it to draw out excess moisture and reduce bitterness. The slices were then layered in a baking dish with chopped or sliced tomatoes, which provided natural juiciness and acidity. Onions, garlic, or other inexpensive vegetables were often added to enhance flavor. A drizzle of oil or a small amount of butter enriched the dish, while simple seasonings, salt, pepper, and occasionally dried herbs like thyme or oregano brought out the natural flavors of the vegetables. The bake was cooked slowly in the oven, allowing the flavors to meld and the eggplant to become tender and creamy. The juices from the tomatoes combined with the fat and seasonings, creating a rich, savory sauce that coated each slice of eggplant. Some households sprinkled breadcrumbs or grated cheese on top if available, adding a crisp, golden layer that contrasted with the soft interior. Eggplant and tomato bake was both practical and comforting. It could be served on its own alongside bread or as a side to a small portion of meat, making it a versatile and frugal choice for families trying to stretch their resources. Beyond its practicality, the dish symbolized creativity and care in the kitchen, demonstrating how simple, inexpensive ingredients could be transformed into something satisfying and memorable. Today, it stands as a nostalgic reminder of Depression-era ingenuity, proving that modest components, thoughtfully prepared, can yield a meal that nourishes both body and spirit. These 30 Depression-era suppers remind us that delicious, hearty meals don't have to be expensive. Simple ingredients, a bit of creativity, and a lot of love can turn humble pantry staples into satisfying dinners for the whole family. If you enjoyed this trip back in time, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe for more nostalgic recipes that are easy on the wallet but big on flavor.